Okay, howdy folks. This is a update on the, I guess you'd call it the Conundrum series. Uh, as you know from, if you saw the last videos, that Oregon at one point had, out of the blue, decided to declare war on me. So I sent independent army up there to do a little invasion work. I was at the time down here in Central America and southern Mexico, Mexico City area, and was working my way north with an army of um, railroad guns. Still doing that. East Texas decided to declare war on me just as I was cleaning up the rest of Mexico here. You can say I worked my way on up quickly. And then also New Mexico declared war on me, which was kind of unusual because I had my long-range bombers actually taking out some of Oregon's troops uh, in the sense of I was reducing their hit points but not necessarily killing them, just so that New Mexico would get the kill uh, and uh, it wouldn't look like I had done it. So uh, that meant nothing to the computer-controlled New Mexico. And so a few hours later, it declared war on me, which is no problem because what was fortuitous, you can see I've got a 6 railroad gun group here. Is the one I took on up here through Baja California and everything, and the western side. Conquered all of it, and then I've redirected it over here to New Mexico. Uh, this 7 railroad gun group here was the one I had coming up through the center of Mexico. And so I'm using this corridor to go right in and attack New Mexico. But then up here is Oregon controlled territory. And you can see there's a nice little corridor all the way up here into the meat of Oregon. Uh, there's only going to be sporadic defenses left from New Mexico because Oregon and Northern California, which has not declared war on me yet, but is a coalition ally of Oregon. So at some point they will. Right now they are still human controlled, and he has not done that, and I have not attacked him. So I think he's just gonna, he's gonna assist, but not in a direct manner until Oregon basically tells him to. Um, anyway, so it won't take long to another 4 or 5 hours, and I should be through New Mexico. Maybe 6 or 7. It's mountainous. It's just big distances, but once I bring my guns in here, it shouldn't be a problem. Just looking at this heavy tank division that Northern California has here at Las Cruces, uh, let's tap on it and you can see 295 hit point group. Um, Armored cars, heavy tanks, infantry, light tank, medium tank, motorized infantry. So he's got a conglomeration there. Um, Very nice battle group there he's got. Uh, but when you break them down individually, you can see, oh, there's tank destroyer too. You can see that they are all level 1 units. None of them are upgrades. Uh, Handful of them are around 50% hit points or lower. So uh, once my big guns start tearing into that, it'll knock them down pretty good. So within 2.5 hours, most of those hit points will go away. Um, so that's not really a worry. In addition, Oh God. Oh my God. Okay. And in addition, I've got this six railroad gun group following up here, so uh, it would not be a problem if North California declared against me because I could eat up that spearheaded group they've got, and it's kind of fun. I'll pull back here and you can see where Northern California had come in and uh, they went west, or I'm sorry, east. They went east, took over Nevada, and they went into Utah, took it all over, and then they kind of got stalled out up here in Wyoming and Colorado area. And when they did that, Arizona took advantage and pushed up north and took over a lot of the central territory here in Nevada and western Utah. So they ended up losing some there, and there may still be some active battles and things going on there. But you can see Northern California, you can see where they took over quite a bit of territory and how they did it. They had this spearhead group of mostly tanks, uh, all stacked together, 10 units, and, heavy hit points, and it didn't really matter what they came up against. Whatever it was, they killed quickly, lost very few hit points, and just kept pushing straight on south. They just made a beeline for as far south as they could, assuming that some of these territories did not have enemy units in them. But even if they did, maybe they were aiming for the ones that had the enemy territory, or enemies guarding that territory. It doesn't matter. The point is they used a massive spearhead group to go in and conquer territory quickly. But now they came up against Texas and then Mexico, which they could see I was rapidly moving north. And so they kind of came to a stop right there. So we'll see what he decides to do. Is he going to keep pushing on south or not? In the meantime, let's go back up here to Oregon. When I first attacked Oregon, I brought in my 3 railroad guns, which are now over here heading towards Bend, Oregon. In fact, let me go ahead and get them on task there. This guy, I'm going to send him down into the mountains since he travels faster than a railroad gun. So anyway, you can see I was playing cat and mouse with just about every unit you could imagine. Washington units, was it Washington? I can't remember. Anyway, no, they were Oregon units. I'm sorry, they were Oregon units, but they were all the way up here into Washington. And they just kept coming south and south and south. But again, this was not coordinated, not in big stacks like that Northern California had done. They were coming separately. So there might be 1 or 2 tanks or a couple infantry groups or a similar pairing might come together, but they would all be just kind of one after each other, kind of like a train, but with enough space in between that even with only 3 railroad guns, you can see all the battles that it took place. And I mainly bounced around between Gold Beach and Coos Bay and Roseburg here in a triangle, killing whatever came towards me. And you can even see the path that the enemies took. They came here Klamath Falls and Ashland and Medford and came this way, hugging the border, due west to come at me. And then you can also see they were coming down here from the northeast to get to me, and then directly south, more or less along I-5 from Eugene and everything, and coming to get me. And so I had to play keep away there, play a little cat and mouse, stop, shoot, run for your life for 30 minutes, stop, shoot, run for your life. But they didn't get me. Now, I did have a scout car, and I think I might have had one other unit, and I can't think of what it was. But anyway, they killed the scout car. That's no problem. I took over Coos Bay, and now I'm building some tanks and scout cars and things using their old industrial base. I had a 4-unit infantry unit that I brought in up here and sent him to Forks and up in the Washington Peninsula here, where the state park is. And maybe it was down here. Maybe it's near Centralia. But anyway, the point is he came in and he captured 2 or 3 territories here, Olympia and everything, and then the defensive forces were brought down from north of Seattle and everything, and northeast of Seattle, and got over here more or less at the same time. And I gave them a merry chase using this long triangle pathing that goes up to Forks, where it parallels each other. I finally got trapped in between 2 units, and then lost those 4 infantry units that were already at half health. So again, I didn't care. They were simply a distraction. They did what they were supposed to do. They were the bait for my trap, and my single battleship over here, which survived a big battle with Oregon, sat there and just slowly picked those units off, and it took all night. I slept through most of the battle and everything, but you can see right here, how many units were destroyed by my battleship, and then 3 of them up here at Forks. So there were a few others, but they've already faded, and they were down here close to Portland area. But so anyway, a lot of battles going on here. I've eaten up a lot of units. I don't know if this will show it. Let me click on this, and if you click up here in the name, it'll give you Army details. And if you come down here, you can look at confirmed kills, 34. So 34 kills from this group of 3 railroad guns. So very effective, for the money that you spend researching them and building them, and then the time it takes to transport up here, which is essentially 2 full days. Boy, you just can't beat the efficiency of them. You just look at this. I mean, this is a war unto itself right here. So I'm happy to say I came out ahead on that one with just minor losses. I did lose the submarine and destroyer that came with my battleship. I now have a group of 4 submarines that I'm bringing up here just in case. And I have a feeling Oregon still has some Navy, because you can see what he's done to Alaska. Now, Alaska is nice when it comes to resources, big territories. You capture one thing and you're capturing a huge area up here. But, for example, manpower, 19. And then if you capture that territory, are you getting that much? No, you're getting 19. I mean, it's just not worth it. Getting the cities is worth it. If you want to go get Fairbanks, you can, but the three cities are fairly easy to conquer since they're near the ocean, and in a nice little line right there. You got to go through mountains, so it takes a while. But quite frankly, you don't need the rest of Alaska. It's it, it's one of those things where you send a couple of units out, like scout cars, something quick, and just turn them loose for like 4 days, and then they'll finally conquer everything. Uh, Assuming you've killed off any defenses by then. But it's a lot of work. It really is. Uh, in my opinion, you'd be better off going after Yukon here, which only has Whitehorse. It has one city, but you're getting a lot more resources in a smaller area, half of which is mountainous and the other half which is plains and easier, quicker territory to cross. But anyway, so that's the update on that. Now let's go to the East Coast, where I had yet a third army. And you remember I took over the islands in the Caribbean and everything, took over Florida really quickly, and then bugged out. And the reason I did that is I did not want, at the time, Alabama, Georgia, all this stuff, I didn't want them declaring war on me. And if I had left units there in any number, they probably would have, since they're computer controlled. Instead, in practically the blink of an eye, Minnesota and Illinois, which are in a coalition, really just swept down on through here, leaving only Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas alone. Well, now you can see that they're making inroads into Kansas. They've got most of Oklahoma, and they've even taken on a little bit of Texas here. So he has stayed away from East Texas here that is attacking me, but he's taken over everything. I mean, you just look at that and think, well, they're going to win. Well, let's go back up here. As far as sheer points go, me as a solo, 730. The next coalition, which is Minnesota, Illinois, North Quebec, and West Ontario. They're in second place. And then Oregon and Northern California are still in the game at 520 in a distant third place because Mexico was one of their coalition allies when I wiped it out. So, and then North Quebec, or it was Alaska, and then they had a falling out or something. So, but anyway, so South Quebec, I've played cat and mouse up here, and I lost. I've only kept one territory that I had 9 artillery pieces that I had sent up, and kind of roundabout conquered most of this eastern half of South Quebec over here, Newfoundland, all this kind of stuff. Took it over, went to sleep, woke up, and I had nothing left except Fredericton. And so I had lost everything, and including all 9 artillery pieces. So again, that's okay. I don't care. They do low amounts of damage and they're slow, so I'm not worried about them. I care about my railroad guns and my scout cars and my battleships, and then everything else is secondary. So I sent my battleships up here to kind of help out along the coast. You can see from the last video where I mainly had stuff right here along the coast that I pushed on inward. New York is almost entirely taken back over. anything that they had. They've got what, 6 or 7, 8 territories left at most. Virginia had the computer-controlled Virginia had attacked me. Um, I completely took it over except for this one little island over here that I can't get at to because Minnesota or Illinois has surrounded it. Uh, they had 3 or 4 territories revolt back just a couple hours ago. Uh, so I'm in the process of getting those back. I have a single naval bomber that has survived overnight down in Mexico. So I brought it up. It's taken a little damage, 19 out of 23. I brought it up here just to use it as a scout. For example, I wanted to know if there was a unit over here in Weston, which is owned by Virginia, and there isn't. There's no units there. So it's handy for a long distance scout like that. And if it gets shot down, who cares? So you can see my railroad. Illinois snuck in. Look at what he did. He snuck in there and took that over when I wasn't looking. Where is he? Is he up here? That's Minnesota. That's Virginia. So Virginia is trying to take territory back or something up here. Looks like they're going to war with each other. Well, that's fine with me. But anyway, all right, so I'll have to deal with that. I'll have to get my railroad gun out of here. This one actually needs to be brought over. Yeah. Let me just bring him up there for now. Anyway, so you can see crazy amounts of fighting going on down here in Virginia area around Richmond. A whole bunch more battles up here in Baltimore, Maryland area, Philadelphia. A little bit more around Harrisburg. Not much else around the rest of it until you get up here into the New York area. And you can see Albany and Utica here. I had a whole bunch out of railroad gun just kind of sitting here, a single railroad gun, and somehow survived the night. And you can see the amount of battles that took place, how many units it's killed. So I was really, really fortunate and impressed by that. Where is that? This might be him up here. Let me see. Let's click on it and see what it says here. Yeah, 35. 35 confirmed kills with that single. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a pair. It's a pair of railroad guns. So 35 kills though. I'm just amazed that it survived. I really am. And the health on it, 74.3 out of 92. So not much got close to it. And in fact, I would hazard a guess that it was probably artillery that got close enough to do any damage to it. So very, very impressed and fortunate with that. So as you can see, I've got scout cars now that I built locally. 1 or 2 of them I think I brought all the way up over the ocean, but the rest of them I built locally. I'm turning them loose, going after some of these territories that I know nothing's in. I'm using them as scouts where, see, I'll park it here to target other units. Like this guy's come down to capture Auburn here. I'm not worried about it. As soon as I get a railroad gun over there, it'll make short work of him. So right now he's just got to clean up some of this mess over here, and then I'll have this 48th Railroad Division have him come up and clean all this out, this corner out up here. In fact, I'm going to redirect this guy and bring him here, and then maybe I can get him up and go around about to up here to Meadville and capture that. So anyway, you can see what's going on. Fun stuff. Oh, and the kicker. Here's the kicker. You gotta love it. sometime yesterday, I get a message. So, okay, here's Coalition Best of the West, Northern California and Oregon. You have been invited to this coalition by its leader, which is Oregon. He's the leader. And uh, I'm just incredulous. How could you do that? Uh, we'll go up here to messages, and it says, if you want to win, this game is based off of points. We may be super close with the amount we all have. I think he's trying to say already. Not much detail, nothing else. He's basically saying that if I joined their coalition, we would instantly win because we'd have enough points. What he fails to realize that it was an asshole move for him to declare war on me for no reason. Even kill one of my units, one of my naval units, for no reason. I was so far away at the time, I'd barely entered into Central America and done anything, and he's declaring war on me. And he's lost every battle since, basically. So, the second asshole move was to then invite me into his coalition. Well, that's not surprising like I said, they started out in their coalition with Alaska. And something happened, and they kicked Alaska out and then invaded him. So if that's the kind of guy this Oregon guy is, yeah, you can play the game however you want to play the game. But don't expect me to join you just because, I'll win, instantly win with your little coalition. I'm going to win this as a solo, and I'm going to totally destroy Oregon, just as a matter of principle. I think he needs to learn a lesson. Now, he won't, because he'll either just quit the game, let the computer take over, or he'll just coast and think he's going to get second or third place. But if I wipe him out entirely, he'll get nothing. And that's my goal. And if I have to take down Northern California, I'll do it. Now, I don't want to lose to Minnesota and Illinois, their little coalition, because they've made incredible gains here in territory. So probably tomorrow I'm going to have to attack them, or they'll attack me. So, either way, if I go after Northern California and Oregon, if I take their territory over, it will be enough for me to win on points as a solo player. If I have to go against Minnesota, I only basically have to hold them steady in their territorial gains, and if I can gain on them and make them lose some, then I will basically ensure victory. So what I've done, I'm still pumping out railroad guns every 10 hours from 2 cities down here. I still have 3 different cities in Central America and Mexico that I can pump out railroad guns. And if I have to invest resources to do one even further north, then I'll do it. I've got it now, so you can see money doesn't matter because it comes in so quickly, but food, $1,200 an hour. Goods, $1,300 an hour. Manpower, $1,366 an hour. Metal, $1,200 an hour. And then oil, a little over $1,000 an hour. And rare materials. Materials, $1,300 an hour. So those numbers will only go up. Manpower is still always the problem. That's why you must conquer all the territories, not just the cities. You need that extra manpower to keep pumping and refreshing units, and need it to upgrade also. This is why when you take over or your starting cities and everything, pump up those recruiting stations as soon as you can afford to. Get those manpower numbers up because you will need as many as you can get per hour. Uh, your economy really counts in this game. So anyway, that's the update, and then I'll wait a couple 3 days or whatever, and then have another update for those that are interested in the outcome. But you can see how railroad guns are so effective. I've got a three-front war still, and I'm not losing, so I'm only gaining. So, all right. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something. Hope I helped you. And if you got any comments or questions, you can send me private emails like a couple of people have done, uh, or you can do it through the video here. So, uh, one of the questions somebody asked me was, do I do Twitch? Yes, I do Twitch, and I am on Twitch, and it's Lenexa is my call sign on there. So I don't stream a lot, but when I do, I go for hours and hours and hours usually. So, okay, well, thanks for watching. Bye.